You recognize that tune, and you know it's time for Relics Radio. This is a family-friendly show, so the entire family can join us as we talk metal detecting and relic hunting. You can call into the show at 270-495-0315 or join in the chat and post any comments or questions you might have, and we'll get to as many of them as we can. You're listening to Relics Radio of Southern Kentucky and Middle Tennessee. And you are live. August. It's already August, I'll tell you what, but that's good because fall's not far away when we get to August. August the 2nd, 2018, and you are here with Relics Radio in Southern Kentucky and Middle Tennessee, right along the very beautiful Cumberland River. We're coming to you from the studio here in the Loft, right off the heels of the Chattanooga show, where we did remote shows there for the History Seekers and for American Digger, Relic Roundup, and then Relics Radio. We had a ball, didn't we, Jeff?
Had a great time. It was my first. Well, it was our first Relic show, and it will not be our last. I'm very glad that Butch and Anita put it on and invited us down for the podcast. And like I said, it will not be our last one. So.
No, it won't. And before I forget it, I was watching the chat here. We got a house full, and I'll let you name some of them in a minute. But Bill Hayes is in. Got to meet Bill Hayes for the first time there at the show. But Bill had some health problems and had to be hospitalized there in Chattanooga. But then got back home, I believe, maybe Wednesday sometime. And so you were in our prayers, Bill. We're certainly glad that you're on the mend and back home again, and certainly do appreciate you dropping in tonight, don't we, Jeff?
We sure do. We really appreciate it, you listening, and our prayers are with you, and I'm glad you're out of the hospital now, and hopefully you'll get back to digging pretty soon. So
I didn't know he was in the hospital until we got back home. And so, you know, we would have probably ran over by there before we left or something other than checked on you. But didn't know until I got home. But then Barb filled everybody in. And then also Bill commented on one of the Facebook things that we had on the show. I tell you what, boy, a lot of relics there and a lot of people that we know through the podcast and we know through YouTube, and got to meet a lot of those people, and we had some great guests on all three shows, and just a good time, wasn't it?
Yes, it sure was. And I wished I'd got to meet a lot more people than I did. Of course, I was driving around Chattanooga looking for a, mail stereo cable,
yeah,
1/4 inch on each end. And of course, I'm from Middle Tennessee. I'm not from East Tennessee. So here I am. I went to Walmart, went to, I think it was Radio Shack, and went to 3 or 4 different places. And I finally found one at a guy pointed me. He said, Guitar City's right down the road. He said, you may find one there. And sure enough, they had one. So, but I mean, it was an adventure. And then on the way back home, we made a left turn while we should have made a right. And we went up through the mountains. And I mean, it was, at first we was like, man, here we are. We're 30 or 40 minutes out of the way, but it turned out to be a great drive. I mean, we went up this road, and then we seen these flashing signs that said no vehicles over 30 foot past this point. And then we found out why, didn't we, Seth?
Yes, we did. It was going over Signal Mountain. There's a road there, and you actually had to stop the traffic that was coming, we were going uphill, and the traffic that was coming downhill to make a curve, you actually had to stop and let them get in your lane and go across. And if anybody had fell over the side, they'd still be falling, I tell you.
They sure would. They'd be falling till next week. So.
Yeah, they would. Who we got in the chat tonight, Jeff?
Well, Chris, he was the first one. We got Nick Hayes. There's Matt. Gone digging. Larry Stevens in the house. Ohio Relic Hunter. Earl from Virginia. Hey, we've got even our guest is in the house tonight. There's Jim. We got Ken, Bill. Let's go on up here a little bit further. We've got a new one, 5280 Adventures. I don't remember seeing that.
I have watched his videos. Before.
Oh yeah,
sure have.
But yeah, there's a few of them in here. So
got a house full. That's good. Got a house full. And I think that's our host digging partner, 5280 Adventures. And speaking of our guest, we have Ken King with Adventures in Dirt on YouTube, has the Weekly Dirt. How are you tonight, Ken?
I'm doing great. How are you two?
Two
rednecks with a metal detector.
That's it.
That's awesome.
We haven't made a video together in quite a while, and hopefully in the morning we can. I'm going to say I can promise you some Civil War artifacts on the next video or when the video goes out, but it's kind of hard to promise something like that. But I know they are there, so hopefully we'll have a good hunt tomorrow. So,
well, and flights are only about $100 from Denver to Tennessee, so I'll be there. I'm on my way.
Come on down. I know there's going to be some Civil War stuff because I got out today and got out the other day, and I've got I got an Eagle button and about 10 or 12 bullets. So I've already got enough. Well, actually, I've got a video that I was finishing up today and doing a history clip on, and it will come out this next week. Hey, guys, if you like those history clips, you're going to have to watch this next one. And Jennifer is going to have to watch this one because it's right up her alley, and it's something that you would never dream of.
I can't wait. See, I have no idea what Seven's doing the history clips on. I have no idea. And it's always a surprise to me on Tuesday morning when I get to see the video just to see what he's doing the history clip on.
I sure love them. I tell you what, Lloyd, those are awesome. Those clips you do are so interesting, and it's my favorite part of your videos. I wait to see what item you've just found that you're going to pull off into one of those history clips, and it just adds so much to it. So as a fan, as a viewer, boy, I sure appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate that. And, I don't ever know what they're going to be either. And it's a funny thing to me because I've been doing that almost a year now. And, you think, well, what will I do it on next time? And me and Ohio Relic Hunter talked some this week, and I've got a history clip in the works that will kind of be a fallback. It's going to be a good history clip, but I found something this last week, and it's a so-so find. I mean, it's just a piece of junk, really, but very interesting history behind it. I learn something every time I do one of those. Every time I do research.
Can you give us a little hint of the age of it?
1920s, 1930s.
1920s, 1930s. That could be a million things. Mason jar lid.
No, I've
could
done
be a lipstick container. Could be a.
I've done one on a mason jar lid, I think. Hey, Ken, one thing that really impresses me about you, and wait a minute, Magnetic Marv just got in the house. You see Magnetic Marv?
Sure. And History Seekers come in the house too. So.
I've seen the History Seekers come in. And the reason that I call him Magnetic Marv is I sent him a message the other day, And I sent it on my phone, and old man like me and big old fingers and everything, the C and the V is right there together. And I put MAR and then hit the V instead of the C. And he called me on it, and said something about it, something. But that's kind of a segue, and then I'll get back to you in just a second, Ken. But it is kind of a segue because Mark sent me a private message last week after the show, and they were guessing my birthday is 1776 and that I went to school with Abraham Lincoln and George Washington. And he made the comment in a private message. He said, I hope that doesn't offend you. And I said, listen, Mark, I said, we are good friends. And if we can't go on and cut up with one another and say things like, I know that you like me or you wouldn't do me that way, And you know that I like you because I'm calling you Magnetic Marv now because he got him a magnet and started magnet fishing. And first thing he got was a pair of needle nose pliers. So he's off to a good start there.
That's awesome.
But I just wanted to throw that in because we're all, that's what rednecks do. I mean, we make fun of one another, I mean, that's our hobby other than metal detecting. But
and
one
we're
thing,
all friends.
We are all friends. And I'm always saying something to Jeff about he's a bottom feeder. He jumps in my line and gets my finds and everything. He doesn't do that. I mean, we go out there and we hunt, but it's all in fun. We have a good time. And when you quit having a good time, you might ought to rethink your plans, But that's what we do. That's the way we roll. We're just, I'll say anything to any of you guys. And, this whole manatee crawl thing wouldn't work if people had thin skin and got, if they, that's right.
That was awesome. Yeah.
And he said,
that's a good way to be.
Yeah. He said, Scott is a bottom feeder. But hey, Ken, one thing that really impressed me about you is that most of us, and I don't want to use the word selfish, but most of us are concerned with what we do. But you're concerned with what everybody else does. That's what makes your channel work, and it is completely unique. How did you come up with that idea?
Well, thanks, Loy. It was a case of, I was getting out and I was doing this dig and I fell in love with the hobby. I haven't been doing it that long. And I really started making videos and I really started enjoying that process, but I wasn't finding very much that I thought was worthy of putting up a video on. So I thought about it. I thought, what can I do to just put more out there? And I thought, I'm watching all these videos. When I couldn't get out, I would watch videos and watch what other people were finding, and just getting impressed and more impressed of what they're finding over across the pond in the UK and here locally, and you all down here in Kentucky and Tennessee. And I was just going, it's just amazing, and it was such motivation to me. Matter of fact, my digging partner Tony, 5280 Adventures, there in the chat, him and I would go back and forth a little bit, like, oh, hey, did you see so-and-so's video? Did you see Quarter Hoarder's video? Or did you see Digging with Seven's video? It's just amazing. And it would motivate us to get going and want to get out there even more and more. And I started thinking, I said, you know what? How about if I just could put videos together of other people and kind of a culmination of what everyone else is kind of finding of the videos that I watch throughout the week. Because I noticed I was watching more and more videos, lunchtime, after work, in the evenings, everyone else in my house is asleep. I'd be up watching some videos and, getting tips and stuff, trying to learn from everybody. And I started saying, okay, well, I'll put this together. Well, the first thing I needed to do is get permission from everybody, but didn't know if I could do that or not. I mean, who's going to give me permission to work with their babies, their little creations, the things they spend so much time and effort on filming and editing and cutting it together and putting it out there. Well, I decided just to take a shot and say, okay, I'm going to ask some of these people, some of these other channels, and I reached out and got some real favorable response. And I thought, okay, well, I'll put something together. And then once I had one put together, it gave me something to show to other channels of what my intentions were. because my intentions were always just to try to show the best of what I was watching. Now, I'm sure there's stuff out there I wasn't watching that was probably better than the stuff I was putting together, but this is really just what interests me and what I'm interested in and what I thought was fascinating. And from there, it's kind of grown since there.
Well, that's great. I mean, you've done a real great job on your videos. I watched several of them today, and I've watched a few of them a couple of months ago. But anyway, kind of, what is the best segments that you've seen, or do you want to go there?
Yeah, I don't know if I can have the best on top of my head. I've seen an awful lot of very impressive things from, Plugmaster and Wes's silver hoard that they found, just amazing, to some gold stators being found. Another one was just recently found over from Little John Metal Detecting over there in the UK. To I'm a big tokens fan. I just love tokens. I love the items that you find, and then you have to go do the research to figure out where they're from and what they're about. I just love that. It's just what really interests me. And I've seen some really incredible tokens from History Hound Detecting, been up there, to you guys, to there's all over the place. Some of the most interesting finds I think I've seen have come from Quarter Hoarder's channel. He digs up some of them home sites, and he just finds some very interesting pieces of Americana, pieces of days gone by, where you just and some of them are so unique. You gotta look them up. I know that he's posted things on Facebook, and I've immediately gone into research mode, starting to look up his item, what he just found, and trying to find out and help him find out information for it. So that just really interests me. But of course, there's Roman hoards being found over in the UK. I was watching a video with Steven, the man with the hat, and he happened to be live at a big detecting festival over there, and he was flying a drone around and such, and some amateur detectorists found this huge stash of Roman denarii coins, and so some of those are some of the most impressive things I've found. But like I said, sometimes it's the smaller, more unique things you've never seen before are the items that really catch my attention.
Mm-hmm. So I can see that, and I'd seen a find. It was found. I don't know when it was found, but it just now has been on Facebook. The guy found the gold ring.
Oh my gosh!
That had the I guess it looked like a wax stamp on the front of it.
Yeah, I saw that today. I was watching that all today. I watched two different. I watched the actual video of him uncovering it with all the cursing. they were pretty excited, and then I found more of a news report a little bit later. That is an amazing ring. So, an incredible find for that gentleman.
It sure is. The museum has it now, and then of course they're going to do their research on it. So, but it was a great find.
Yeah.
You'll have to do a little bit of editing on that one to put it on your channel, won't you?
There has been a few channels to where I've wanted to feature them, and I've had to sit there and think, now how am I going to edit this one? And, I like editing, actually. I'm kind of a nerd that way. I kind of like editing, and I'm up for the challenge, I tell you. So I pieced it together here and there, but no, I don't think I have any plans on featuring this ring, but it sure was incredible to see.
From an editor standpoint, then, what program are you using to edit all your videos together? That's always an interest to me.
Sure. I'm a Premiere Pro guy, an Adobe guy, so I use Premiere Pro. I know a little bit about After Effects, so I kind of play with that a bit. So that's my main editing program is Premiere Pro.
I used Premiere years back, and I got into another program now that I use, and it's Power Director by Cyberlink. And I use it, and I'm accustomed to it, and got all my templates and everything made. But, that's a great program that you've got, no doubt about it. And Adobe, that's just kind of state of the art, with photography and editing and all of that.
Right. And I'm still learning. I mean, I'm nowhere near. I'm just a barely proficient with it, and that's probably going to be good enough for me for what I'm doing.
Yeah, when I do mine, I just use the regular movie maker. But now I went to it's called Lloyd Milam out of Southern Kentucky. So.
That's a good one. I heard that's a real good one.
It is. It's worked out great for me. So.
Price is right, I heard too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Real good price. Yeah.
But I tell you what, by the time, and most people don't know, and I was going to follow up with you on this question here. Whenever I shoot clips, I bring them in. I shoot most everything on my iPhone. I do a little bit of stuff with the GoPro, but most of my stuff's on the iPhone. And at the end of the day, I come in and I download all that on the computer, and then I go in and cut my clips where, you get rid of the junk and the extra stuff that you don't need there. And then I pull my audio off, and I doctor my audio. Do you do that on yours as well, or do you leave the audio just the way it is?
I use, for my camera, I have an action camera. I've got this little action camera. It's kind of a GoPro knockoff, but it actually is a 4K action camera, even though I don't shoot in 4K. But it has an external microphone port. That's what I liked about it. And I have this external microphone, and it's a little hot. So when I pull in my raw clips, the first thing I have to do is kind of dummy down the audio to a reasonable decibel level. And that's about the only messing of the audio that I do. But it is raw audio from the video. And the mic I've got, it's a pretty cool little mic, but it is a little hot sometimes, so I just got to tune that down. But as I'm cutting in clips, that's part of the challenge, right? When I'm putting these clips in from all these great channels, I'm dealing with their product. So I'm dealing with whatever their audios were. I usually try to go about -6 dB. So I've got to either bring theirs up or bring theirs down, depending on how they filmed their clips. And also when I capture their clips, I'm using OBS to capture their clips. That's the program I use to capture clips. And it kind of dummies down the audio automatically. So a lot of times I'm having to bring that up. And sometimes that's the biggest challenge with the audio and sometimes I haven't gotten it right. So I'll get texts from people. Like I remember one time Nathan, his dog is my co-pirate, texted me on my private phone and said, "Hey, your latest episode, the second segment on an iPhone, we can barely hear it." And I was like, oh, good point. I got to remember more people these days are listening on their mobile devices than on a PC. Because when you're on a PC and you're wearing a nice pair of headphones and you can hear everything great, sometimes you forget the fact that the majority of people these days are looking at stuff on YouTube through a mobile device. So you need to keep that, making sure your audio levels are more level and close to each other. Because even if something dips down 6 or 8 decibels, could really throw it off on a mobile device.
Yeah, it does. Hey, guys, we're coming up on a hard break here. We're going to run a commercial, and we'll be right back.
Hey, Seven, we's looking good in our new Redux Radio T-shirts.
Yeah, Ken and Mark Guthrie of Detectives.com done brung them to us.
Yep. And they makes other shirts, too.
Yeah, boy. Detectives.com can handle tees for your club, hunt, or any other promotion folks may have.
They even got the Wide Pride shirts.
Yeah, them boys does the manatee crawl.
Yeah, scooting on their bellies.
That's what I said. The manatee crawl.
Looks like slugs eating jelly.
So whether you hunt horizontal or vertical, tell the folks where they need to go, TJ.
www.detectives.com.
I still love that commercial. I tell you what.
It is great. Jeff done great on it.
That first syllable, it gets you every time. As soon as you hear that first syllable coming out, yip. Oh, it's great. Yip.
And we got to meet those guys at the show. They were at the booth. Treasure Mountain Metal Detecting was between us and Ken and Mark. Guthrie and detectives, but we got to meet them and then got to go out and eat with them. And I tell you what, they're a class act, ain't they, Jeff?
They sure are. I mean, they're great people. I mean, just great people. And I mean, we plan on doing a little water hunting this year with them, and if we ever get a chance. So, but anyway, Ken, back to you. Of course, this show's about you. How long have you been detecting yourself?
Not that long. I'm still a relatively beginner. I've been doing it for about 3 years. I got into gold prospecting about 5 years ago, and I'd always wanted a metal detector. Ever since I was a little kid, I can remember I grew up in Northern California, and I'd hit the beaches all the time with my family, and I can always remember seeing all these old men out there with metal detectors. It seemed like, and I was always really interested in it. And my dad always had this very adventurous spirit, so he was always, he was one of these guys that would like go to the dumps and bring back a box of books thinking he was going to find some first edition treasure that was going to make him rich. You know what I mean? He was just one of those guys that was always looking for the treasures out there. He was always looking for the one wheat penny that was worth $1 million and all that such. So, I kind of always had my interest in it. What is that about really? What's that about? And when I started gold prospecting, a lot of people had metal detectors, and I thought, "Ooh, yeah, that'd be great." I always kind of wanted to check them out, and so I started looking for a gold bug too, like on Craigslist and stuff. I just couldn't afford one and stuff. So one year for Christmas, a few years ago, my wife bought me one on a Black Friday deal she found, and she picked one up for me, and I've been hooked. Went in the backyard with it. Day or two after Christmas, first find was a 64 Canadian cents. Second find was a 925 ring, and I was hooked.
No,
that was it. I was done.
Oh yeah, how bad? I mean, that was my first find was it was a 1930s flat button, just a regular old flat button, and I was hooked after that. I couldn't imagine finding a 925 silver ring with one of my first finds. But what is that the only metal detector you have?
No. Since then,
see, there we go. That's part of it.
She, my wife, bless her, she did her best, and the machine she got me was a really great machine. It was actually a little bit of a sleeper machine. It was pretty cool. But since then, I started looking at a machine I wanted to buy, something a little more interesting. I was doing a lot of research. I was spending a lot of time on the forums. And there's this guy on the forums, on the Friendly Metal Detector forum called Digger27, and he really had me sold on the Fisher F70. So I was looking at trying to find a Fisher F70, and pretty soon after that, First Texas, their Technetics division, decided they were going to put out the new Patriots. And the Patriot came out, and it's basically a Fisher F70. Everything is exactly the same as a Fisher F70, except it has soft buttons on the face instead of hard buttons, and that's about the only difference. So I picked one of those up as the new Technetics Patriot, and that's my main machine. I love that machine. It's so versatile. I can set it up all kinds of different ways, and I just love it. It's got so many different functionality to it. It's just great. But not too long after I bought that machine, I was incredibly lucky and actually won SC Digger's 10,000 subscriber giveaway of a Technetics T2.
Man, there you go.
So now I've got the Patriot, the T2, and then this old bounty hunter type machine. So
how do you like that T2?
I like the T2. I really do like it. As a matter of fact, I think I told you all before that one of my goals is to try to get lucky enough to be selected to come up to DIV. And I don't have a PI machine, but the T2 is probably going to be my machine that I'm going to go with. I think as long as I just open that thing up and slow down, I might have a chance at finding some things. But I like it. It's a great relic machine I've found. It's got a real high-end, or at least higher-end iron range than my Patriot does, where the Patriot's got a little bit of a larger upper end to it. The Technetics has a larger lower end to it. So I think iron cutoff on my Patriot's like 16 or 15, and the T2 is like 39, 40, something like that. So it's got a higher low end on it, which would be great for relics and stuff. So I like it. I like the ground balancing trigger. Everyone falls in love with that. I fell in love with that. I like the weight distribution of it is really great. Matter of fact, I want to get a new coil for it. That's the only thing I'm lacking right now. Just like to try a new coil on it.
And Matt Howell is in the chat. He said he can loan you a PI. No worries about that.
Oh, right on, Matt. Thank you, sir. We had talked about it before. Maybe me coming up there and hooking up with him. And if we do if I get selected for DIV, that'd be great, Matt. Thank you.
Yeah. You can use a VLF at digging in Virginia if you hunt in the woods. I took my CTX 3030 and did fare with it in the woods there. But that ground is so hot that you're just not going to get any depth, and it's been hunted to death, most of those places. And so, you just about have to have a PI machine to really get down in there and find those things. Unless you get in a thicket like me and Jeff did where nobody ever wanted to hunt. And, there was some shallow stuff in there.
How do you rabbits turned away?
Yeah. I told Matt Howell, we went to that New York camp and we walked back up in there and me and Matt come out and Jeff was trying to get in on the other side and we kind of walked around and I told him, I said, I seen a rabbit walk up to it, look in, shake his head and turn around and walk off, because, but Matt did find he found a good deer shed. He found the whole skull up there, didn't he?
Sure did. It was a good find. I mean, it wasn't Civil War relic, but it was still a great find. And in that thicket, man, if that first day, if we just walked over to the left, probably maybe 30 yards,
I know it,
where you would have found your New York button. But I mean, hey, it is what it is. And if we go back to that farm sometime, we know where to go.
Yeah, we know where to go because Earl from Virginia, he found a plate down there at the spring and I don't know how many New York buttons were dug out of that place right there. Barb dug one, I know, and Matt got some, and we just should have went in that direction. But Ken,
great.
How do you find time to detect? Because I know how hard and how time-consuming that video editing is.
Yeah, it is. It does take some time. Well, I have a very understanding wife, for number one, who gives me a lot of space to do what I want to go do, and I really appreciate that from her. But I just try to squeeze it in where I can. I have a real kind of a stressful job. I work a lot of hours throughout the week, so unless I'm going out on a lunch period to some park around me or something, I'm really not getting out during the week. So between me and my digging partner there, we kind of come up with plans on where we're going to go on either a Saturday or a Sunday. And we usually just try to go at least once a week on one day out of the week and hit a place and make plans for it and do the research and try and go. Or, in the evenings, I'll go hit a park or something, just wherever I can. I mean, I haven't released a lot of digging videos because, like I said, I just haven't found a ton. And I should know better than that. The person that inspired me the most to make videos is this guy named the Hunter GT. The Hunter GT has a website. He's got a forums. And I was on his forums right away. As a matter of fact, he released a video about the first detector I owned, showing how to use it and everything. And it really impressed me and how great his videos were. And then he would just go out to these parks and just find whatever was there. And his ability to make a good video out of whatever he found impressed me. And I thought, I could do that. No matter what I find, I could try to make the best video I can. And then, I don't know, I think once I started doing the weekly dirt and people started really responding to it, I think I got more picky, you know what I mean, as far as what I wanted to put into a video or not. And then I've made tons of mistakes. I don't know how many times I've gone out and dug and videotaped all day with this camera sitting on a hat on my head, falling down my face, and go home and found out that the external mic malfunctioned and I had all muted audio, and then I don't feel like doing talkovers on it, and I just scrap it,
I've done that before, and then go in and do voiceovers on it, and I'll let you know a little secret. I hadn't done it much, but there's a few clips that where I found some good stuff, and something happened to the audio. External mic on my phone got halfway unplugged or something. But I know 3 or 4 clips that I've done voiceovers on, and actually took my phone outside and just turned on record on video to get the ambient noise of outside and mix that in and everything. You know?
Perfect. And no one would know the difference.
Nobody ever knew the difference. You know, you can't sit here in the studio and just overdub something like that without having a little bit of ambient noise. So now you know the secret of what.
Yeah, in them clips, Evan would say, "Man, I've lost the the audio." And then, of course, he'd be like, well, I had to go over and redo the audio on this one. And, of course, I would go back to the clip, and you really couldn't tell that he'd done it. So he does a great job.
Quarter Order had an interesting question a minute ago. He asked if any of the channels that I've approached to ask permission to use their clips, if any of them have refused me, if anybody has said no. And I have to say, this is a pretty great community we belong to. And that's the one thing I've really learned in the few years I've been involved in this, is that we do belong to a pretty good community. And I have to say that there's only been one channel that straight up said no, they'd prefer not. And another channel that gave me such parameters on timeline that I just couldn't use them. So only 2 out of, I have 400, I'm subscribed to 470 channels now. And I don't have permission from every one of them. I haven't reached out to every one of them, but I'll tell you, I have over 300 that I've reached out to. In the off chance that I want to use their videos, I don't ever promise anybody anything. Just if I'm catching your videos and I see something I want to use, do I have your permission to use clips and feature you on my channel? And almost everybody has said yes. So it's been a blessing for sure.
It has. Go ahead, Jeff.
See, Madison, Maine said, I said yes. So
Yes, he did. Absolutely. And I appreciate it. And I hope I did him justice. That's the thing. It's like, look what I've done. Here's the kind of things I'm doing. I'm really not out to kind of, cause anybody any grief or anything. I really just want to promote your channel and show what kind of good things you're up to. It takes a leap of faith, right? They don't know me. They don't know me from Adam, and they are going to give me access to this hard work they do. I mean, you faced that question too, Loy, when I approached you. It's like, hey, sir, could I use your stuff? And it takes a leap of faith to say I'm going to trust this stranger to kind of use my stuff. I'll tell you what's going on right now. Over at Aquachigger's site right now, he's getting ready to take a little bit of a break, and he's looking for people to kind of put together best of video series or best of videos on using his clips. So he's kind of reached out and kind of put out a video saying, he's looking for people to kind of do that for him so that he can fill in and doesn't have to release so many videos, so he can take a little bit of a break. And I'm planning on getting involved in that, but same thing, you're trusting somebody else to kind of manipulate and use, because what if I don't do the edit correct, or what if I edit out something that somebody thought was really important or something? I mean, they have to trust my judgment in that I'm going to do the best I can and present it in a good light. You know what I mean?
And you've done a great job. There's no doubt. How many clips? How many different people have you used?
Yeah, that's a great question. Question I probably don't have an answer for. I'll tell you what I did, though. At the end of 2017, I did a New Year's Eve special at the beginning of 2018 where I put together a bloopers reel and just kind of a bunch of bloopers of how I made all these mistakes. And at the end of the blooper reel, instead of running credits, I kind of did a big thank you to all the channels I had featured up to that point. And I don't know how many were there, but there was a lot, and it went on and on and on and on, and it just kind of scrolls down the screen. One thing I've been thinking about doing is maybe putting together some kind of table of contents or something somewhere that people can go look at. And let's say they wanted to find out all the episodes I featured, Digging with 7 in. They could go and they could find out, okay, he's in episode 4, he's in episode 8, he's in episode 23, and they can go back and find those episodes. Thinking about maybe putting something together like that. And then I would have an answer to your question, but I'll just say an awful lot. Yeah,
that's a lot of work, though, to do that, to catalog all of that and put it into a kind of a contents glossary or whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
But I know you've done a bunch, and you reached out to me. I didn't know you, but I liked the idea of what you were doing, and it is flattery, I think, to be asked. It's kind of like Jeff Ford featuring you on a lip sync video, isn't it, Jeff?
It sure is. And then I seen where Earl from Virginia said that he was proud that Ken watched his videos. He didn't even know Ken watched his videos. So, I mean, it makes you have a good feeling when somebody does that. And then, like you said, with Jeff Ford's sync videos, lip sync videos, I mean, they're great. And if you can't get a laugh out of that, then, I mean, you have no sense of humor at all.
Yep. I agree, Jeff. Sorry, brother.
I tell you what, he is something else. Hey, guys, we've got another commercial break coming up, and we'll be right back. If you want to keep up with what's going on in the metal detecting world, then you need to be a subscriber to American Digger magazine. Butch and Anita Holcomb are the publishers of the magazine and have won awards for 3 straight years for being the best digger magazine on the market. American Digger magazine is available in both print and digital formats, so no matter where you live in the world, you can enjoy the latest happenings in the hobby. You can get in touch with American Digger magazine by going to americandigger.com or give them a call at 770-362-8671 and be sure and tell them that you heard it on Relics Radio. And while Jeff is thinking about what he's going to ask Ken, let me throw a plug out there for American Digger magazine. I did an article on Plugmaster Ford and Wes Stringer on the Great Silver Horde and submitted that to American Digger magazine. And I talked to Butch today, and that's going to be in the January-February issue. So be sure and check that out and be a subscriber to American Digger too.
So, Ken, we normally ask this to all of our guests. What is your best find or your most historical find?
Right, yeah. That's a tough one for me because, like I said earlier, the stuff I'm interested in, not a lot of people probably think it's going to be very great, but it's what I consider great. In 3 years, I haven't found a whole ton of stuff and I'm here in Colorado too, so I have a little bit of a handicap going on. Colorado's only been around since 1850 or so. So there's not a lot of real old stuff. There's no, not much colonial stuff going on here. Civil War stuff not really going on here. And when you find those items, it's really a special thing. So I have not found anything Civil War yet. I've not found anything colonial yet. I have not broken the 1800s in a coin yet. I've gotten to really early 1900s, but never broken into the 1800s yet. Some of the things that I found, and of course I've found some nice, valuable things like rings with diamonds and gold and such in local parks. So that's cool. But to be honest with you, those don't interest me as much as I was on a farm permission. I got this large farm permission. I don't know how many acres it was, a lot. And I was able to find a broken piece of oil lamp. You know how you find those oil lamp bases with the wick turner and the wick stem and all that stuff. And the end of the wick turner dial has the patent date on it, and the patent date was 1834. So I thought that was pretty cool because of its age and why was it in the place it was at. So it's a piece of junk. It's not worth anything, but it's on my shelf. I can tell you that. I just thought it was so cool. Another cool item I found. I thought I had a gold coin. I experienced the thrill of looking into the hole and seeing a gold coin looking up at me. And my digging partner was rolling down the freeway, and I called him and I said, "You are not going to believe what I just found. I just found my first gold coin." And I was shaking. I just got the shakes. It was crazy. I see other people do it in videos now, and I know exactly how they're feeling. I pulled this thing out. And I'm looking at it, and it's got dirt all over it, and I'm cleaning it, and it's gleaming, and it's got an eagle on it, and it's got Spanish writing on it, and I didn't know what I had. And I barely could maneuver my thumbs on my phone to try to look it up. It turned out to be plated. It turned out to be something called a Mexican matrimonial token. Are you familiar with those?
I've never seen
not.
one.
Yeah, it's a pretty unique find. So that's why I like it, because it's pretty unique. I guess in some Mexican Catholic traditions, faith, the groom will give the bride an eros. An eros is a collection of 13 coins. They can be gold, they can be silver, but most of the time they're plated. And they represent sort of a promise. It's almost like a promise dowry almost. And that's what this coin was. It was one of these matrimonial tokens. And as I rubbed it more, the gold started coming off.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, man. But I'll tell you, me and my digging buddy went back to that same farm about a week or two later, and he found another one about 7 feet away from where I found it. Same exact type. And so now we're wondering what happened. Is this a marriage gone wrong? Is this,
Yeah.
We started calling the ranch of broken dreams, because who knows why it was there and how it got there, but pretty interesting.
I know why that marriage failed, because she said, you cheapskate, you couldn't get me gold. You had to get me something plated.
Take these and do something with them.
Yeah.
Speaking of gold, you're in Colorado, so do you do any prospecting?
I do. Yeah, it's a great place to do it here in Colorado. I do. About 5 years ago, I really started getting into it. It just interests me again. And I'm always one of these guys that's jumping into an interest, and then I go full bore into it. Like my wife and I once visited Napa Valley, and I came home and I had to just start making wine. I had to. So now now I make wine. I make wine, I make cheese, because it just interests me, and I had to find out how to do it. I didn't know how to do it. How's wine made? So I found out, and now I make wine. Same thing with gold panning. Once I started getting into it, though, it was really, really addictive. I mean, the first time you go into a river and you find color in your pan, you are hooked, buddy. You are hooked. And I know I know you guys do it as well, and you know what I'm talking about. But it's very recreational for me. I started doing it with my son as a way of me and one of my sons to get out and kind of. He's about the only one that was interested in it. And I got 6 kids, and my youngest boy, he was really into it and wanted to come out, and he likes rocks. He likes all kinds of different rocks. So boy, go digging in a stream or in a river or a creek, that was right up his alley. So we started panning and about a sluice, and I have not invested anything more than that in it. So right now, just panning and sluicing, no high banking, no dredging, anything like that. I made myself a little hand dredge, but other than that, we have a blast. We just went last weekend, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, on your birthday, wasn't it?
On my birthday, right.
Yeah.
Spent a great day in the river. It was awesome.
You can't spend a birthday better than that. So, Seven and I, we've just now got into doing a little prospecting, and he's got a sluice, and I went out and bought me one, and I think we've got a trip planned here in maybe a few weeks to go to Corker Creek. It's out in East Tennessee, and it's North Carolina, and hopefully we can find some.
No, it's in Tennessee.
Is it in Tennessee?
Yeah, it's in Tennessee. Bird Dog caught us at the show right at the end. I think they went hunting, and then they came back. Him and Zach Bird and Anita Jackson and some of them, I think, went out hunting. But anyway, he came back, and he said, hey, guys, let's get together and go to Coker Creek. He said, I know some spots there. And I was talking about some other places and everything. He said, yeah, you could go there. But he said, you got a chance of finding a nugget at Coker Creek. Wow. But the way he talked, it's quite a hike to get into where he wants to go, where where it's been not as many people have prospected in that area. And he said, we pretty well had to camp overnight in there and everything. So it'd been an adventure, I tell you, especially for an old man camping out in the wilderness. I tell you what.
Yeah, I was telling you earlier, my hamstrings sure were not happy about last weekend. I'll tell you, spending all that time in a river hunched over a bucket. You know what I mean?
It does.
Oh, I bet. No, I mean, just a little bit. The 7 I went. I mean, we'd go one day and I couldn't walk the next day, and then we'd go again, and then I couldn't walk 2 days after that. So I mean,
Sure
and
does.
then here we are going with Bird Dog, and then camping out overnight. I mean, it may be next year before I can walk. So.
Yeah, it sure does feel good on a hot day, though, to sit there in the creek and feed that sluice, doesn't it?
Oh, it
sure does, boy. Yeah, sure does.
Yeah.
I remember I was looking around. I did a little video on my Facebook page last week while I was sitting there because I looked down and I had reception. So I thought, well, I'll go live here on my Facebook page. And I was just looking around, just thinking, boy, I sure am lucky. This beautiful surroundings, just these cascading mountains rising up above out of the river. The water was just so refreshing, and this just the sound of it as it's rippling by. And there was no one else out there with us for the longest time, and it was just awesome. I couldn't think of a better way to spend my birthday. It was great.
Man, I'd say so. And, of course, Mark Hoover, he bought a new magnet setup where he's going magnet fishing. And we would like to get together and do that a little bit. We've already got a plan for a good video clip. I don't know if Loy's seen our text messages or not, but
I did. I was working hard, and that was yesterday. I was working hard and trying to get stuff done, and had my phone sitting here by the desk and everything, and it ding, 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 and it's Mark Hoover and Jeff, and they're talking back and forth about this magnet stuff and everything. I didn't even have time to get on and answer them or anything.
Well, we thought you were taking a nap.
Yeah. Hey, Ken, you got to hunt with Mark Hoover at the Rush to the Rockies, didn't you?
I did. I don't believe I met him, though. I don't think I had a chance to meet him. But
you didn't meet Magnetic Marv?
I don't think so. Mark, did I meet you? I don't think so. I met so many people, I just don't recognize that name. I've been looking at the names on the left here. There was about 85 hunters up there, and it wears you out. You're up there above 9,000 feet on the side of these pretty steep mountainsides, going up and down, and it's competition type hunting. So you're hunting fast, you're swinging fast, and bending over often. And by the time we get back out of a hunt, we were pretty wiped out. I needed time for some water, and so I only got to get out and mingle a little bit with people. But Mark, if I met you, I apologize, but I don't believe I did.
And our good buddy with American Digger Relic Roundup, Jeff Lupert, he is with that club that put that on. That's correct, isn't it?
It is, and I belong to the same club as well.
Oh, do you?
So we see each other at the meetings. And same with Tony at 5280 Adventures. We're all members of the same Eureka Treasure Hunting Club, and boy, they sure put on a great organized hunt. I missed it last year, and I'm so glad I went this year. I won't miss it again. It was really, really amazing.
Well, that's one thing that me and Jeff want to do. We want to meet Jeff Lupert. It's only one out of all the shows that we're associated with, History Seekers and Relic Roundup, that we haven't met is Jeff, and looking forward to he joined us there in Chattanooga through Skype on the program, but I'd love to get to meet him. And how many Cohens did they plant in that hunt?
A lot. I'm gonna average it, but I know there was a number of hunts where they said they had 3,300 coins in the ground, and they had 5 different hunts very similar to that. I think one of the hunts was about 2,800 coins, but that's a lot of coins. I think they did over $20,000 that they put right into the ground, and then they gave away, I don't know, 10 or so metal detectors and just a lot of prizes for these tokens. So they would cordon off a hunt field, and everyone would go surround the hunt field ribbon, get ready to go. They put 3,300 coins in the ground, and they all had a different theme. Sometimes it was all buffalo nickels and other types of silver. Sometimes it was big silver. Sometimes it was Wild West, where it had all kinds of things between 3-ringers and other type of Civil War artifacts. And then they'd say go. You'd go and you'd start finding these items, and then they'd also plant 20 or 30 tokens in each hunt field. And if you found these tokens, you were associated with a prize up at the prize table. So everyone was really trying to find them find them tokens. And my hunting buddy Tony, I keep bringing him up, but I'm telling you, he really knocked it out of the park. He's got a great video about it on his YouTube page. He really knocked it out of the park and found probably 4 times the amount I did. I don't know how he did it, because I thought I was on top of the world. I found so much stuff, but he did a great job. That's a lot of coins. That is a lot of coins to put in the ground.
It is, and it's a lot of work. Before I turn it back over to Jeff and let him post the next question that he has for you, Carolyn Harwick and Mark Hoover are 2 that went. I believe that there was maybe 4 that came from the Central Florida Metal Detecting Club and came up there. But when they started back home, airport security called them off to the side and went through their bags and wanted to know what they was doing with all that silver.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
I just seen Mark posted that he got tired of digging buffalo nickels.
Yeah. They had one hunt that was almost exclusively buffalo nickels. I think Tony found about 135 of them, and I think I pulled about 46 of them, and there were sure a lot of buffalo nickels in that hunt. But there was also some silver rounds and some I think there were some Morgans out there. So it was a lot of fun. It was definitely a lot of fun.
Hey, Jeff, give out the call-in number. We hadn't done that, and I'm sure that there's some people out there. 5280 may want to talk to his hunting buddy, or Magnetic Marv may want to talk, or somebody. So give him the number.
Yeah, I just put it in the comment section. It's 270-495-0315. And then, of course, I was hopefully your buddy would call in. 52 if he was available, or Mark. I mean,
yeah,
no, he's Marv.
Tony's probably sick of me. I don't want to talk to that guy. I see him all the time. But no, Tony, go ahead and call in. Yeah, if you get a minute, go ahead and call in. It'd be interesting to tell the story of how we got hooked up as hunting buddies. It's kind of a unique story. But if you call in, I'll let you tell that one. Hey, Seven, Loy, I was going to tell you, I was recently watching the video you did at Chattanooga Relic Show, and I want to reiterate that you really did a great job. Showing all those relics, again, those kind of stuff that inspires us. That's the kind of stuff that got me into doing what I do with the videos. Are videos like that where I was just like, oh my gosh, look at that. I've got to now put more effort into trying to find some kind of Civil War relics around my parts here, or at least get on a plane. I just got to do it.
Well, you've got an open invitation to come here, because, we, on any given day, we can probably go out and find some Civil War buttons or bullets. And, it's not uncommon for us to find 1800s Cohens. Really, it's really not that uncommon. I mean, it's not a stretch for us to find 1700s Cohens every now and then. And,
well, I may take you up on that for sure. One of my other hobbies that I have is genealogy research. For about the past 6 or 7 years, I've been doing a lot of genealogy research, trying to find out where my family came from and my ancestors. And, a lot of my ancestors were settlers to that central Appalachia area. And I have also a lot of settlers from my family near Sapulpa, Oklahoma, and up near Lynn Creek, Missouri. So at some point, I want to kind of take a trip to go find some of these old home sites, or at least sites of my ancestors, and try to just look around and see what I can learn about. And I'd already talked to Plugmaster Ford about maybe I'll come up and see him up there in Missouri and get out to see him. But maybe I'll make it out your way and come see y'all for sure.
Yeah. Hey, guys, we got a call, 3838. Who we got?
Well, this is Tony, 5280 Adventures. I had to call in.
Yes, you did.
Hello, Tony.
we put you under the gun.
No
yeah.
Right. I mean, my goodness.
Hey, tell us how you guys hooked up.
$20 if you don't tell that one story. I'm just throwing it out there.
25 if you do.
Well, it's we both happen to just get on the Hunter GT's forum page, kind of about the same time, within like the same month, and we just got to talking, and it's kind of one of those things where you meet people and hey, where are you digging from? Where? Oh, you're in Colorado. Where at? I'm in southern, south of Denver. Oh, you're north of Denver. Okay, cool. Hey, we should go digging sometime. And we just kind of got to know each other a little bit on the forum and just had a really good time, conversing with a lot of people. At that time, the Hunter GT was actually down in southern Colorado, right kind of close to where New Mexico is. And so we kind of all three had this connection and everything. Well, finally, Ken and I are like, we should go digging. I mean, everybody always says it, when you're, in town, or, let's make a weekend and let's go digging together. So we finally decided, hey, let's go meet. And it was kind of funny because both of us had the same conversations with our wives, where it's, hey, this weekend I'm going to go meet this guy that I met on the internet, and I'm going to go digging with him. And both wives had kind of the same reaction as, you're going to meet somebody that you met on the internet? Isn't that kind of awkward? And so we ended up meeting at a park, and we get to know each other, and we started digging. It's an older park up where Ken lives at, and we started digging right away. And it's a public park, and there's a lot of foot traffic going into like the rec center that's right next to it. And of course, we're there 10 minutes and the police come walking up on us. I mean, we could have called it if that was going to happen. And my background is in law enforcement as it is. So I started talking with these guys and they're like, I know you guys aren't making any problems here and stuff, but there's old people inside that don't like you digging. And, if we get a call again, we're going to have to kick you out, but if not, just enjoy yourselves. So we kind of moved areas and man, it's the first hunt, together. And it's kind of, there's a little bit of competition. I mean, let's be honest, you want to find something better than the next guy sometimes. And, first, we're right in the middle of this field. And what does Ken pull out? He pulls out a Mercury dime. And just shows me up right there. So after that, I was like, that's it. I've got to find more than you. I've got to find, better stuff. And we got this really good friendship and encouraging each other and things like that. And it's just an awesome time. I tell you, I talk to Ken probably more than I talk to my wife.
Well, that's the way.
So that explains why you found 4 times more coins than I did at that Rush to the Rockies.
Yeah, he's trying to show you up.
Awesome. Yeah.
Hey, Tony. While you're thinking of the funniest story that you can tell us on Ken, we've got another ad to run here, and we'll be right back. If your passion is metal detecting, then you know how much your success is based on the equipment you use. Let my buddy Tim Henderson of Murray Branch Outdoors in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, help you with that. Tim is an authorized dealer of Garrett, XP Deus, Tesoro, and macro detectors and supplies, and he is now an authorized dealer for MineLab. So, if you're looking to get your hands on the new Equinox 600 or 800, then Tim is your guy. Murray Branch Outdoors is not only competitive in their prices, but the service after the sale is second to none. Tim not only sells detectors, he uses them, and so he can answer any questions you might have. Murray Branch Outdoors also deals in used detectors, and he'll take your old detector in on trade when you decide to upgrade. So give Tim of Murray Branch Outdoors a call at 615-948-4611 and be sure and tell him Relics Radio sent you. And yeah, Tim is a great guy. Him and Ron of the Dig Dogs were at the Chattanooga show with us, and we appreciate them so much. Call Tim if you've got some kind of detector need or need a new coil or a new machine or whatever. He'll do you right.
Yeah, and Tim also has a dredge for sale if anybody is interested. So
he does.
Yeah, excellent. I can't remember. Was that a 4 or 6 inch dredge?
I think it's a 4. Yeah.
Okay.
That's just what you guys need up there, Ken.
Yeah, that's it. Be tearing up the banks in no time.
Hey, Tony, he said that he would give you $20 not to tell the story. I said I'd give you $25, so we're in a bidding war here, so go ahead and tell it. We'll pay up if we have to.
I tell you, all the times that we've been together, I mean, we've got some really great stories. I'm not going to embarrass Ken. Ken is just an awesome guy. I couldn't ask for a better friend. I do have just a funny story that both of us were involved with. When we were at Rush to the Rockies, we told this. I don't know if you guys saw, but 2 of the stealth diggers were out there, and we were talking with Smoke and Joe, and we told him this story. I was out east in Colorado one time trying to find some old sites, and I came across a spot, and I was out with my detector, and this guy rolls up in his truck. He comes out and starts yelling at me, and he come to find out he mistakenly thought I was somebody else, and I told him what I was doing, and he says, "Oh, my family owns all of this land over here, and I know where the bottle dumps are. I know where the old houses were and everything." And I'm drooling over all this stuff. He says, "Come on with me. I'll show you where everything is." And I can't remember how many acres it is, but it's acres upon acres. So he takes me way back on the land, and he shows me right where the dump was, and I start to dig in and everything, and I'm finding old bottles and everything. And about an hour later, he comes back. He's got some beers with him. He's like, "Hey, you want to have some beer and stuff?" And so we start drinking, and he says, "Why don't I go get my backhoe and we'll start just digging into this and everything?" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this guy's amazing!" Like I scored, and of course I'm texting Ken. I'm showing him all of these pictures and telling him. And Ken's at work because this was during the day in the middle of the week. I'd snuck out, and so he starts digging into the pulling out all this dirt, and I start digging. Long story short, I end up, he gives me an open invitation. Sure, come back whenever you want. So Ken and I are just, I think 2 to 3 days later, we go running out there. Same exact thing. The guy comes out. He's real super nice to us. And then we go out, I think, a third time. And all of a sudden, this new car starts driving through the brush and everything, comes up to us. He says, "What are you guys doing over here?" And we're like, "Oh, we got permission from so-and-so, and we're looking at old stuff." And he says, "So-and-so?" He says, "That guy doesn't own this land. I do." And come to find out, he didn't really own the land. He says, "Yeah, that guy that lives over in that big house way over there," he says, "the big house," he says, "he's just the caretaker of the land. He lives in the trailer that's behind that big house." And Ken and I are looking at each other like, "Oh my gosh, what are we going to do here now?" But that was just one of the fun times that we had. I mean, the more that you hunt with each other, the more great stories you have. And I'm not going to put Ken on the spot and say anything bad about that guy. He's awesome. I don't want to embarrass him.
He is. And you remind me of a story. I lived in Oklahoma, and whenever I first moved there, there was a guy that ran a store down below the house, and he wanted to know if I liked to fish. And I said, "Yeah, I like to fish." And he said, "Well, I'll come get you on Saturday morning." And he said, "There's a lake just outside of town." Said, "Good crappie fishing." I said, "Yeah." So he rolls up on Saturday morning. We get out there to the lake. He asked me, said, "You drive a boat?" I said, "Yeah, I drive a boat." He said, "Well, I'll let you drive, and I'll just point you where we need to go." So we go out there and we tie up, and we're across the lake from the parking where we parked the car at, and we're just catching fish after fish. And then these people, they're honking the horn on the other side and waving and yelling, and you can't understand what they're saying, but you can hear them yelling and everything. And he looks, and I look at him, and just back and forth. And these people just keep honking the horn and waving and yelling and everything. I said, "You know those people?" And he said, "No, I thought you might know them." I said, "I don't know them." Well, we just turn around and start fishing again. I said, "Wonder what they want." He said, "I don't know." And in a minute, he turned to me and he said, "You don't reckon this is their boat, do you?"
Oh, no.
I said, "Their boat?" I said, "This is not your boat." He said, "No, but it's always here every time I come, and I just use it." And I was about to jump in the water and swim away, and then he started laughing. He said, "No, it is my boat. I don't know what they're doing over there." But I can just imagine the mess that y'all were in.
Yeah. It really was a shock.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was an interesting shock. This guy he had sold us 100% that he was telling us the history. He was telling all kinds of stuff. Kept bringing his dog out there to visit us. It was just crazy. So great story, Tony. Thanks for telling
So
that
did
one.
the original landowners give you permission, or did they just make you leave?
He was
give
in
us
a real
permission.
nice truck. Yeah, he was in a real nice truck, dressed up real nice. He pulled out his card. He's president of some big, large corporation that they're going to put a bunch of housing in there, and we didn't know which way it was going to go, Tony had a sidearm on him at the time. We're out there digging in the dirt underneath this big canopy in the shade, and these people just had to wonder, what in the heck are these people doing? But we're just digging.
Oh man, I tell you what, some of the stories that we have, that we can come up with out of all the years, that we've done things and everything. But What kind of places do y'all normally hunt whenever you get together? Is it just parks, or do you door knock, or do you do a lot of research?
Yeah, we do a lot of research. We do a lot of research. I mean, I think that's our best bet for this area, to try to find out. And that's part of the hobby that really interested me the most, was the research. You know, I didn't know much about my town when I first moved to Colorado, but I sure do now. I know a lot. And it's that research that interested me, you know, finding out where things were before, where the people gathered, where was the circus, where were the swimming holes, where did people go to blow off steam, where were the saloons at, all that kind of stuff. And we just try our best to find whatever we can, wherever we can. I honestly, admittedly, and it's something I need to improve on, I'm not the biggest door knocker. You know, my town was established in 1871, and I do have an awful lot of old homes, but a lot of them are in really like historical neighborhoods that are very well manicured, and I just haven't yet gotten into door knocking a lot. I've had enough fun going out. We've gone and researched some old mining sites, some old gold and silver mining towns, gone up in the mountains, traced some of them down, some old ghost towns we've gotten some permission on, just some old farms. But we will go hit a park here and there sometimes if it's just, you know, sometimes you just need to go find something. You know, if you go someplace and you get skunked too often, sometimes it's fun just to go to a park, just to find some things and get some things uncovered, and pull a lot of clad or find some rings, you know, go jewelry hunting or something. So we hit whatever we can, but definitely door knocking is something we need to improve on for sure.
Yeah. So what part of Colorado, without giving the town, northeast, southeast?
Well, I'm up north. I'm up in northern Colorado, and Tony's down south of the Metro Denver area. So we're probably about an hour and a half apart. And I'm more up north. Okay. But we usually meet and go all over the place. I've gone down south a bunch of times. We've met in the middle and headed east or west and head up in the mountains. So we try and go all over.
Yeah, me and my wife, we went to Twin Lakes on our anniversary, and then we stayed at the Mount Elbert Lodge, and then that's a nice place, and I would like to get in there and pan for some gold. So
yes, sir, that's where my target. I have that place targeted. Matter of fact, I was just looking up some mines, some mining claims along Lake Creek there that runs and feeds into that Twin Lakes area. And okay. It's all mining claimed up all the way up there. But my thought is that I'm going to try to find some mining claims that are owned by out-of-state mine claim owners, and I'm going to try to reach out to them and say, hey, I'll go look at your claim stakes and make sure they're still up. If you just let me and my son or me and my buddy go do some real recreational panning and sluicing there, and I definitely want to get on that creek for sure.
Oh, yeah. The guy I guess he still owns the Mount Elbert Lodge. Of course, I talked to him about panning for gold right behind the lodge. And then he's like, well, yeah, go ahead. He said there's several people that come up and ask to pan for gold. Now, I don't know if that's the creek part is on a gold claim. I have no idea. All I know is the guy that owned that place right there said, yeah, you can go pan for gold. But at this time of year, it was so cold, you couldn't. I mean, it snowed like 12, 13 inches the night before. So, I mean, you can just imagine how cold the water was. So we didn't do much
beautiful country up there, though, huh? Is it beautiful?
Oh, it is. It is beautiful. And we plan on going back sometime. So
excellent.
Hey,
well,
Tony.
It sounds like we're going to have to head over there and drop some names.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Are you into gold prospecting too, Tony?
I just started. Ken's been on me for a little bit now, and you know, I know how much he enjoys it. So, actually rushed to the Rockies. I won some gold panning equipment, and since then I bought a sluice, and just was on Amazon the other day and bought some more equipment. It's supposed to be delivered on Saturday. So yeah, I'm like Ken. When I do something, I really jump into it and really get the full enjoyment out of it. So. We make a pretty darn good team together, I tell you.
That was one question that I was going to ask. Now, I'm good at editing, video editing, and what have you, and filming and putting stuff together. Jeff is better than I am at researching, and so we've kind of got our roles. Are you two guys the same way?
I tell you right now, Ken is good at editing. He's good at footage. He's good at research. I just get to tag along and enjoy everything.
He's being modest, but no, we both run each of our own YouTube channels. Tony's got 5280 Adventures, of course, and he does a great job of editing video and shooting videos. And we're always bouncing ideas off each other about video topics and what we should be doing next, and kind of so bouncing each other. So we truly are, kind of a good team. He really gives me that person to talk to. That I can bounce stuff off to. When you're making YouTube videos and doing in that world, the only really people you can really talk to that understand what you're going through is probably another YouTuber, somebody else that is kind of, what I'm talking about, Lloyd. But so yeah, we definitely work together and come up with great ideas.
Yeah,
try to at least.
Yeah,
But gentlemen, you gotta look at one thing though. I mean, you have to, of course, making videos and doing all that is great fun. But you have to watch. You don't want to make it a job. If it becomes a job, then that's when it's not fun anymore.
That's right.
I'm close.
I can tell you are. Yeah, and that's why I said that. So.
Yeah, I'm close, but I still love what I do. The only thing is that, and it's kind of summertime is hard for us because it's so hot. Our fields are grown up and everything. And, but, from editing videos and trying to put history clips together and then doing things for the show and trying to schedule guests and everything, it gets to be overwhelming sometimes. But like you said, I know that Plugmaster Ford and I talk back and forth, and Quarter Hoarder has helped a lot. Just ideas on things that will help your channel to grow. Things that you wouldn't think about, like the little tags that you put in on your video. They've given me some ideas on some things there that, will cause you to have more viewers just by putting those tags in, because that's what people search for, like popular or trending. And I would have never thought to put those in, but I've started doing that, and I think my viewers are up a little bit, by doing that. So you learn something whenever you get with these guys that do it, and we kind of learn from each other. We can't ask our wives if y'all are like me, because she has no clue and she don't care.
See, not every woman is like Nita Holcomb.
No. My wife on Thursdays most of the time goes to the lake. We've got a houseboat on Del Hollow. And I will go down on Friday or Saturday. And so she says, I'm going on to the lake on Thursday afternoon because you've got your radio show. And then y'all will talk for an hour after the show's over. And then you'll call each other the next day and talk about what you talked about the night before, And so she's not interested in it at all.
The other night I did a live stream. Tony and I did a live stream. I was up, I'm building this big hotel up in the mountains up in Aspen. And I was up there in a hotel and I got bored. And I called Tony. I go, hey, you want to just go on live stream, just real off the cuff, just kind of, see what happens, just chat. And he's like, yeah, let's do it. So we did it. And my wife caught wind that we were doing it. And so she actually made herself a little account and came on the live stream so that she could chat in the live stream. She has nothing on her thing. And so when we got done, I called her and I said, hey, that was cool. Thanks for, jumping on there and interacting a little bit. She goes, yeah, I got 5 subscribers right now. I was like, well, there you go. Right on.
Well, it was our pre-Chattanooga show. Of course, Butch, he was talking about Mary Kay is going to have a makeover booth. And I tried to interact my wife with that, and I put her on the show and let her listen to where Butch was talking about the makeovers and everything. And she got a little interested then, but other than that, she doesn't care about the relics too much.
And we had a deal made up. We were going to take up money, and they did. They had a Mary Kay booth there. We were going to take up money and have them make over Heath, but we never did get it done. I don't know what happened on that deal right there.
They didn't have enough makeup.
Oh, they didn't.
Yeah.
Hey, Ken, you have got to get that video that of Heath and Butch a dancing. You've got to get that on the Weekly Dirt somewhere.
All right, sir. I'll give you all the credit as well.
I don't know who filmed that. I don't know if it was Britton or if it was Britton Lockhart or Riley Bryant or maybe Scott Duncan. I don't know. No, I'll tell you who I think it was. I think it was Shannon, Miss Emily's dad, Shannon Copeland. I think he was the one that filmed that. But you can pull it off of our Relics Radio Facebook page, and there won't be no problem with it. Everybody will love that, I tell you.
All righty. Yeah, I'll do it for sure.
What are y'all looking to get into? How is y'all's season? I mean, like for us here, of course, if you're looking at old ghost towns and old mining towns, do they grow up in the summer like our places do?
Yeah, they do. Well, it depends. The old mining towns and stuff. There's a lot of ground cover from the pine needles and such up in those areas. So you do get some vegetation growing up around them, but not as much as let's say something that's down more on the plains. The plains sure do grow up, and you're swinging your coil through a bunch of high grown weeds and such if you're going to try to hunt it, and it tears your wrist apart. So it's better just to kind of wait until, especially if the farm's being worked or something, just wait for them to cut that down. I would say we probably have similar seasons. Our ground gets pretty hard and freezes up, and so we're usually dead in the water through the winter months also, and then in the summer it just depends on where you hunt. You can find places to hunt, so you're not completely shut down. There are places to go look and places to go hunt, like up in the mountains are a little more little easier than if you're down in the flatland somewhere.
Now, me and Jeff, winter's our good time, isn't it, Jeff?
It sure is. I mean, that's our best time. Like,
oh, really?
The ground's hard and everything's grow up, and I mean, even January, February, that's our best times. And then, do you have to worry about mountain lions too much?
Oh, we don't have to worry about them too much, but it's always in the back of your head. I know that my wife and I recently went down to this Renaissance Festival just to spend a day there and have a good time. And there was this big cat show they had there, and they brought out this huge mountain lion. And it just really impressed on me just how large and powerful those cats are. And if they want something, they're going to get it. So it's not a big concern, but it's definitely something, you have to be prepared for, that if you just happen to run in one, knowing what to do and praying a lot.
That when we were in Colorado at Twin Lakes, of course, we pulled up to the Twin Lakes, and of course, they were down. The water level was down, I guess, for summer, winter pool or whatever. And of course, I got to walking out through the old lake, and then, of course, I started seeing like mountain lion tracks, and they were pretty good size. I mean, bigger than my hand. And then I'm sitting out here in the middle of nowhere. The car was 400 yards away, and I'm thinking, well, he sticks his head up over this little dirt mound right here. All I had was my little 3-inch pocket knife, so I pulled it out of my pocket, and I'm walking around with my little pocket knife. And I'm like, well, so when I started seeing more tracks, I was like, well, I better just turn around and go back. So, but I mean, he was probably more scared of me than I was of him.
I don't know if it was Mark Hoover or Ohio Relic Hunter, but they told you, Jeff, that you didn't have to outrun the mountain lion. You just had to outrun me.
That's right. Well,
hey, we got another caller on, Denny Morrison. What's going on, Denny?
Hi, Loy. How you doing tonight?
Well, hello, Denny.
We're doing good.
Hi there. Hey, I got a question for the speakers. In the mountains, when you go ghost towning, how do you get permission? I mean, I've heard that they, especially mining areas, they're still mining some of those areas, and if you're within a quarter of a mile, you better have a gun with you, and you better be really friendly.
Yes, sir. Yep. You have to be very careful. You have to go for permission. If the area you're hunting in is in National Forest land or U.S. Forestry Service area, you got to go to the local ranger station and try to get permission from them. and that's the procedure. That's the procedure to take there. But the research you do ahead of time is trying to find if you're in an active mining claim area or in an area owned by a mining claim. This one area we go up to all the time, it's all owned by the same mining company. And it's very, these maps we have are very clear as to where the delineation of their claim boundaries are. And we will, I've reached out to the COO, the CFO, and a couple other people with the mining company just saying, will you allow us to go in there? Because there's some housing sites. There's some old rock walls we've seen in there. We've seen some cellar holes in there. And they're going after silver. They're going after other things rather than those housing sites. And we just want to go try to hit those housing sites. And we haven't gotten permission for those yet. But we know where the delineations of the mining lands are versus the Forestry Service, and we try to just stay within the Forestry Service where we have the permission.
Have you ever tried to buy a mine or a place where you think you can find gold? I haven't, but definitely interested in it. Definitely have done a lot of research about it. I know the process in purchasing a mining claim. It's really not that expensive. You just have to do a lot of research to make sure there's not an existing mining claim, that you want to find something that's in a gold producing area, a gold producing water flow that comes down off of a gold producing lode or something like that. And, a lot of them are either, your best bet is to try to find an older one that was a previous claim that you can re-up on and get that. Trying to find a sort of a virgin claim is pretty rare here in Colorado, unless you go after another river that no one's really done yet, and you're just going to try to find something unique. But definitely looked into it, looking up on the LR2000 and also mylandmatters.com, and trying to find who has the claims, where they're at. And I belong to a gold prospecting club here called Gold Prospectors of Colorado. And they have a lot of information on there, also trying to help you to find a claim of your own. And I just haven't pulled the trigger yet. I haven't done it, but something I'm interested in for sure. What kind of detectors do you use, Ken?
I have, we were talking about a little bit earlier, I have a one I began with is kind of this old bounty hunter thing that my wife bought me. And then after that, I bought one of Technetics. I've only been doing this for a few years. So I bought one of Technetics' new Patriot systems, which is basically a Fisher F70. So Technetics Patriot is my main machine. I really love that machine, really getting used to it. And that's basically the bottom line, right? Your best detector is the one you learn to master, or you learn to use well. Then I also have a T2. I have a T2 that I have that I was lucky enough to win on SC Digger's 10,000 sub giveaway that he held a little while back. I actually won a T2 from him. So T2, Patriot, and this old bounty hunter.
I'm sure you don't find gold nuggets with any of those.
I've seen a lot of videos about the T2, and I know they use it a lot in like South Africa and a lot in Australia, looking for nuggets. Even with the large 9x11 coil, it's pretty sensitive, and it just depends on the soil, really. It depends on what kind of soil type you have. But I'll try it. I'm going to try it. I know that it's not waterproof at the head, at the main headboard is not waterproof, so I can't get into the river like my buddy Tony over there can. He's got an AT Pro and an AT Gold, but I'll definitely want to try to look for nuggets with it. Don't know if I'll find any, but
I got an AT Pro for sale. I mean, if you need one, but
right.
I actually would take my GPX up there in my mine lab if I was going to go gold hunting.
The GPX,
that would be the thing to use. Yeah, I mean,
you need a mine lab with a multi-frequency PI detector, pulse induction.
Cool.
So, I mean, of course, I had the, what was it that come with the GPX, the Eureka Gold. Ken, have you ever used the Eureka Gold or anything like that?
I haven't. I know they use Gold Bug 2s around here all the time, if you can get your hands on them. But
White has come out with a brand new machine. Rob Johnson, when we had him on as a guest, was kind of previewing that. And I noticed on Spud Digger's Facebook page that he put that out. White's has got a new detector called a 24K, and it's a gold detecting machine. Haven't heard anything else about it, but it's really supposed to be something that is designed to do that, to find nuggets.
Yeah, Mark Hoover just just use the GPZ 7000. Yeah. Wouldn't everybody like to have one of those?
Yeah, that's only a $10,000 machine.
Yeah, it's a monster, isn't it?
And it weighs about 10,000 pounds the way I understand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It weighs more than a GPX ever thought of.
Oh, yeah.
Well, thanks for calling in, Denny. I appreciate talking to you. Thanks.
All righty. Talk to you later. Good show.
All
Hey,
right,
good
thanks,
questions, Denny. Thanks for calling.
All right, Lloyd. Bye now.
Yep. Hey, Ken, we're coming up on an hour and a half, and that's kind of our ceiling on this. Appreciate you coming on tonight. Tony, we appreciate you calling in and talking with us.
I love that you had me on. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that.
We may reach out to you and have you on as a guest if you would be up for that.
I'm always up for it. Absolutely. I love talking to people that enjoy, some fun things.
Yeah.
I'll get my stories ready now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Lauren and I is just two rednecks with the middle.
Yeah.
Before we get off, though, and then you can go ahead and say what you were going to say before I interrupted you. But be sure that you tell us where we can, where everybody can get in touch with you and your Facebook pages and your YouTube stuff and all of that. And by the way, courtesy of DetectTees.com, we're going to give you a shirt for being our guest here tonight. And so you need to send me a message or email me, however you want to do it, and tell us your address and your shirt size. And you've got your choice. You can have a Relics Radio T-shirt. You can have a Wide Pride. You can have a History Seekers, or you can have American Digger, or I guess you could probably have the Can You Dig Like a Manatee if you would want one of those. But it's all up to you. And thanks to Ken and Mark Guthrie for doing that. And hey, guys, one more plug for them before I turn it back over to Ken is if you've got a club and you guys are thinking about doing shirts for your clubs, give them a call. I tell you what, they are very reasonable on their prices, and they make great shirts, don't they, Jeff?
They sure do. And then I've washed mine 3 or 4 times, and then, of course, the lettering does not come off. And, I mean, it's a great shirt, has not shrunk any. I mean, of course, the rest of my shirts have been shrinking in the dryer for some reason. I don't know why, but
I don't think it's a dryer's fault. I think the fault lies at the supper table. But anyway, we loved having you on, Ken. And
well, thank you very much. I appreciate the shirt. Yeah, appreciate the shirt. And I'll be sure to reach out to those guys and thank them as well for supporting you guys and your channel, your show here. That's awesome. Yeah, I just want to thank you guys for having me on. For those of you listening, if you wanted to find me, it's Adventures in Dirt. You can probably put that into any search of any of the social media and probably find me somewhere. Or The Weekly Dirt is the name of my weekly series. It airs every Sunday at about 3 p.m. Mountain. I try to do 2 or 3 minutes on about 4 to 5 channels, showing you kind of the things that I'm interested in, that I saw that was of interest that week. I also do some announcements where I'm announcing giveaways and upcoming events and really what other people send me that they needed to be announced. And it really is just sort of what's going on in my world of metal detecting this past week. I usually don't go further back than a week. I do have a new show coming up I'd like to tell you all about. Probably in 2 weeks, I'll start my first show of a video interview show, a live chat interview show for live streaming called Digger Spotlight. And I'm going to have notable diggers on that I will interview on video conference, and we'll be able to interact with the chat. We'll probably do some giveaways and just try to have a good time, much like we had here tonight. And Jeff and Lloyd definitely want to probably send you guys an email and see if I can get you guys on as guests at some point in the future. So be looking for that. But I do want to thank you guys for having me on. Very, very honored that you would think of having me on, and really appreciate it.
It has been our pleasure, hasn't it, Jeff?
It sure has. I mean, we couldn't do this show without a guest or our listeners. So, I mean, we do it all for you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, appreciate it.
And don't forget to hit the like button.
That's right. And don't forget to follow us. We need more followers. We're just up around 145, and it ought to be up around 1,000 now, as good as we are. And you was talking about doing a video conference with me and Jeff. Me and Jeff's got a face for radio.
Yeah.
We sure do.
Well, we're going to find that out, hopefully.
You guys hang on the line. I'm going to close the show out, and I'll chat with you for just a little bit before you get away tonight. And we do want to thank everybody for coming in and joining us, and as we do each week. And by the way, I've got Adventures in Dirt. I've got their link in the description. I've also got a link to all of our sponsors in the description, so if you didn't catch any of that, you can go there. If you like podcasts that talk about metal detecting, be sure and catch Beyond Sight and Sound with Josh Kimball Sunday night and Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. American Digger Relic Roundup, Butch and Heath and Jeff on Monday night at 9 o'clock Eastern. All Metal Mode is on Monday night at 8 o'clock Eastern. And then Tuesday night, History Seekers with Heath and Scott. They're on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern. And then Hardcore Metal Detecting, they are on Thursday night and Saturday night at 8 p.m. And obviously, Relics Radio is on every Thursday night at 8 o'clock Eastern. And we always have a good guest, as we did tonight, and we plan to do that in the future. So you guys join us next week, and until then, go out there and dig some history. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on Relics Radio. We really do appreciate it. Be sure and join us live each Thursday night at 7 o'clock Central Time, 8 o'clock Eastern here on Spreaker. Or you can catch the archive show at Relics Radio on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, or iTunes. Please take a minute and hit the like button, and be sure and follow us so that you'll get notifications of all of our upcoming broadcasts. You can also find us on YouTube at Digging with Seven or Tennessee Jeff, or you can check us out on our Relics Radio Facebook page. If you'd like to get in touch with us, then send an email to diggingwith7@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. We hope you'll join us next Thursday night, and until then, get out there and dig some history.